All right, welcome in. It is the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast. We have reached episode 78 here on the podcast. It is the Matt Burke, Landon Leckler, Bruce Smith, Anthony Munoz edition of the podcast. I think I got everybody. Those are the only 78s I could think of. Off the top of my head, it was Landon Leckler from NDSU, and then Boone, of course, and Matt Burke, failed governor of Minnesota.
Lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor. That's right. Yeah. So, but we've got quite a bit going on. Oh, Grant just disappeared here. We've got John Morant might be getting the other guys, Will Ferrell treatment of the other guys of getting a wooden gun. We've got the conference finals and the NBA matchup set. And then the NFL schedule was released, and we're going to each give our top 5 NFL games of the season that are not our favorite teams. And then we are going to, as we said, we're going to go do chapters 3 and 4 of the history of heartbreak of the Three Guys Talking Ball book club. This one is covering the Minnesota basketball and, oh man, voice crack there, and Twins heartbreak, which we've seen a lot over the years. But Grant, are you alive still? Can you hear us, or how are we doing? And are you kicking, or what's going on?
I'm kicking, and I'm alive and well. It's the best I've been in.
Oh, he's back.
This is the best I've been in 7 weeks, and I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you're back at work now,
Yep.
loser.
Yep.
You got the knee brace off. You were just talking before that you're sleeping a lot better because you don't have to wear that big bulky knee brace anymore.
That is correct.
So you're doing good. You're back in the gym, and well, yeah, I suppose so. That's all positive vibes on that front. You guys, Mother's Day was yesterday. How did you guys get to do anything special for Mother's Day, or did you guys how did your presents to your moms go? Did they approve, or did they disown you?
Cheryl didn't disown me. She actually liked the book we got her, but
Nice.
we didn't see her yesterday.
Okay.
We saw her Saturday. And so we went out to Olive Garden. My dad got reservations for us. And you know what? They still have damn good breadsticks.
Yep. You can never go wrong with Olive Garden salad and breadsticks.
Absolutely not.
So I was working yesterday. So believe it or not, guys, I actually wished my mom a happy Mother's Day over the phone, not on the internet. It's a crazy concept. Do
you love your mom, Grant? Is this a hold the presses
if you go by
because
the rules of society, no, I do not, because I did not ooh and ah on
oh
Facebook.
okay.
So sorry, Mary.
Grant Rogers.
Sorry, Mary. I don't know what to tell you, but I don't love you. No, I gave her a call. We chatted a little bit, and then I tried to find a picture of her favorite NFL coach, who she thinks is the most handsome, Kevin Stefanski. She enjoyed that because let's be honest, he's better looking than Daryl. She's a fan of the song.
Yeah. The men in the Castor family are not much to look. Well, I mean, Daryl's much better than you, but the son was that the Castor, a great family. They only messed up on one kid.
Well, remember, I'm the oldest, and the oldest kid is like a pancake. You throw that one away. So
I agree with throw pancakes away. Yeah, I still not a fan of pancakes.
So sorry, Daryl, but Kevin Stefanski has a spot in Mom's heart. It's just got that good salt and pepper look, but a little more salt these days. It's like being the stress of an NFL head coach wears on you. Yeah, just gave her a call and sent her a text, and I said, hopefully the puppy they got doesn't bite you all day, and Dad leaves you alone. And she enjoyed that, and sounds like she had a good day.
Good. What did you get her for Mother's Day?
I haven't got her anything. I gave her a phone call.
Oh.
Didn't wish her anything on Facebook, so I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the next time I see her, I'll get her something. I can't guarantee that though. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, judging by the amount of times I had to bug you to get this book and remind you, and that doesn't surprise me.
Who knows?
But I know Mary knows how you feel about her.
Maybe I'll just
You know, it's
I'll just Venmo her $20 and say happy birthday.
there you go.
Oh, it's her
There
birthday
you go.
too.
No, happy Mother's Day. I messed that up.
Yeah. Grant's got also. I think he must have taken his meds before we started recording. He's a little loopy from that. That must be what it
Instead of
is.
donating all my opioids back to the hospital, I just finished them all.
Just finished them all.
Yeah, I
boy.
just finished them all, so I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I suppose that's if you can't sell them, just finish them. But
No refill, so it's not going to do me anything.
yeah, no, you haven't figured out how to forge anything yet.
No, not yet.
No. Okay, well that's
Nope.
good. Yeah, we don't. I don't feel like having to. If I'm going to Minneapolis, I don't want to drive there to have an intervention for one of you two.
Well,
So
and luckily, the pharmacy I go to on my file, they have no refills. So even if I forge something, they're gonna tell me to politely fuck off if I want more.
well, you'll just have to go to a different pharmacy.
Well, the problem
You
is
know.
that the doctor only prescribed me with that. I'd have to go to a new doctor and get injured again. I ain't doing that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Getting injured sucks. But in all of our athletic glory, we got our opening night of softball tomorrow night, so get to see my athleticism on full display. I have not thrown a softball, caught a softball, or swung a bat since last season ended. So who knows? It could be well, the good news is I'm not fast enough to pull a hammy, so I got that going for me. And I am too old to slide or care. I know my limits. I'm not going to try to stretch a single into a double or a double into a triple. You know, I'm good just slowly, casually running the bases.
Sounds like the perfect softball player.
It is, just I would be one of Billy Bean's favorite players. I just get on base. It's not always pretty, but I understand that I'm not going to be hitting dingers every chance at bat. We got other people for that.
You know your role. You're a perfect team player. Perfect team player.
That's right. So, but yeah, we've got the NBA. The conference finals matchups are set, and Boone sees something in the background. I don't know what he's got, what he
He's
sees,
excited
but
for something. He's just kind of chilling.
oh, just chomping at the bit
Yeah.
here. But maybe he's excited for Lakers, Nuggets, and Celtics Heat that's going to be going on by the time this episode drops. Game one of each
Serious?
each series will be played. So I believe the Celtics Heat is Tuesday night and
Nope.
Lakers Nuggets is Wednesday
Nope.
night.
Lakers Nuggets.
Or do I have it
You got it
flipped
flipped
around?
around.
Lakers Nuggets. Yeah, that would make more sense because the Lakers Nuggets was over on Thursday and Friday, and you know what? I think we had this conversation last year. Suns, they're done chained, and then they just fired Monty Williams. I think that's a terrible idea. Kevin Durant is KD is actually they're changing the letter of coach to a K, and he's Coach Destroyer. And the Suns, they're front runners. They quit. They'd throw in the towel when things got tough. They just laid down and died, similar to how they laid down and died in Game 7 against the Mavericks last year. And it's a new ownership. There's a lot of money owed. There's some things that have to be figured out. If you're a Suns fan, what do you do with DeAndre Ayton? What do you do with Chris Paul? We talked about it on last week's episode that the Suns, if they're smart, they get rid of some of these pieces and they got to build around Durant and Booker and find more of a bench.
Well, that was their ultimate downfall in this series. When Paul was down, they lost a score. They lost a facilitator. It was too much one-on-one ball with Booker and Durant. And then when Ayton got down, they had no inside presence. Ayton's not much of an inside presence at all because Jokic actually bodied him up the whole series. But they had to rely on two guys, and the Nuggets were the better team. They had better team, the better coach, with the best player playing out of his mind, and Jamal Murray looking like the bubble Jamal Murray. Dylan, you're right. The Suns, they just laid down and died. How do you give up over, was it 70 points in the first half, or was it 81 points in the first half?
It was 81-51.
And then
They both were down. It was because I believe last year it was like 55-25 or somewhere in there in Game 7 against the Mavs.
Mm-hmm. And having KD is great and all, but you got to wonder some of those pieces they gave up around the trade deadline. You got to wonder if that's going to start to come, if that's going to bite him in the ass in the future. Just because
Yeah.
having KD is great and all, but is he going to stay for the next 4 to 5 years like those guys they shipped off to Brooklyn are? Like, I don't know. And who else is going to want to come and play with Booker and Durant? What's Booker's situation like? Is he going to want a super max deal? If that's the case, your bench is going to get even more thin because you have no money. You can't tell me they want to pay into this luxury tax big time with these deep pockets and having to pay Monty Williams all this. I mean, it's crazy. The last 3 years, they have blown a 2-0 lead in the finals and lost 4 in a row. I believe that they had a 3-2 lead last year against Denver, lose by 40 at home in Game 7. And in Game 6 this year, elimination game at home, you give up 81 points in the first half. It's just embarrassing. It's an embarrassment for the organization, and there's a lot of soul searching to do there in Phoenix.
I feel like you almost have to blow it up. You got to get rid of Paul, which I know they want to. Got to get rid of Ayton, which says they've already tried to do that too. But we've been saying that for
should have done it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've really just put themselves in one giant ass hole. But at the same time, they are going to probably get the best coach because you're not going to find a better duo of Durant and Booker. But you're also in cap hell. So what can you do around them? That remains to be seen because they're probably going to have to eat at least a little bit of both Paul and Ayton's deals.
Well, especially with Ayton, he's a 7-footer who can't shoot well. He doesn't defend, and he doesn't have a post game. Who's going to want to take that on and ask for the contract that he's looking for? I can't find an organization who's going to want to bring him in and say, hey, he's one of our cornerstone pieces.
No chance.
But I will say this: if I'm the Phoenix Suns, I'm doing everything in my power to get Mark Jackson.
Yeah.
You have to. The Bucks and Phoenix should go to a bidding war for Mark Jackson right now.
Well, I think Mark Jackson, he interviewed with the Bucks or met with them over the weekend or something like that. I
read that yesterday.
Some form of contact. So
I wonder if they'd had like maybe a WebEx call or a Zoom call when he was in Boston.
Yeah.
Before the game, or who knows? Maybe they met on Saturday and they flew him out there too.
Well, and the other part too is I mean, some of it is like who, as appealing as that job is, but the other part of it is it's like if you're a coach, do you want that job in Phoenix? Because Kevin Durant, he's gotten in the last 3 coaches fired that he's been or last 2 coaches in the same year. He's gotten them fired.
Well, I don't put the Steve Nash one on KD. I think that's more the owner and the GM process for just trying something that failed in Brooklyn. I mean, him and Kyrie played less than 80 games together. They tried Harden. He was injured. That didn't work. And also Steve Nash, I don't think was a qualified head coach. Monty Williams.
No, well, that's the part of it though, is because Kevin Durant and Kyrie said, "Oh, we don't need a coach. We can run the team."
But
no, you can't.
And that just proves that the NBA, you can't let the players run the league. You need to have basketball people making these decisions. In the NFL, you can say all you want. Guess what? GMs and head coaches have the final say. You don't let players run your teams. Look what happened to Philadelphia. You can't tell me Doc Rivers runs that show. It's the Embiid and Harden show, and that blew up on them. Look at the last teams here going to the conference finals. What do they have? They all have a strong head coach. Say what you want about the Lakers. I think Darvin Ham's a good coach. He and him and Pelinka, they figured out the players they needed to get at the trade deadline. And look where they're at now. I mean, they started out 2-8 this year, 2-10.
They're bad.
It was bad. I mean, they fought, scratched, and clawed their way in to the conference finals. Matt Malone, hell of a coach. Eric Spoelstra, what is this? His 7th, 8th trip to the conference finals.
And he still has yet to win a Coach of the Year.
which is unbelievable.
Which he probably disqualified himself when he coached the big three, the Wade, Bosch, and James. I think that probably disqualified him. But I mean, you look at the body of work he's done. Like last year, he could have easily
They
won
were the
it.
1 seed last year.
The bubble, yeah, and I mean, well, I remember during the 2020 year, I was at the bar with some buddies, and one of the games was on, and a guy was trying to tell me that he's not a Hall of Fame coach. I was like, "Are you on crack? Are you and Lamar Odom? Are you guys going to a brothel and shooting up crack here, trying to tell me that Eric Spoelstra ain't a head coach? Look at the guy. I think he's maybe missed 2 playoffs in his entire coaching career.
Well, remember,
and he's a guy that started from the ground up and worked his way up. He was a film assistant.
remember when they first signed Jimmy Butler before the 2019-2020 season? People said that was the worst free agent signing of that summer. They gave Jimmy too much money. They've been to the conference finals 3 of the last 4 years. And the 1 year they didn't make it was because they played in the bubble and they had to start the regular season 2 months after that. Every bubble team in the conference finals that year was hurt and injured and couldn't get far. So I bet you if they had a healthy roster that year, they make the conference finals. Oh, and he's doing it this year without Tyler Hero. Last year's 6th man of the year with a broken hand.
Oh, we got Ethan again. Well, that and now I lost my train of thought here, of course, but
Sorry,
you're not telling me that the Sixers could use Jimmy Butler, but that's right, the Sixers didn't want him because Jimmy Butler was too mean.
Well, remember, Tobias Harris over me? Tobias Harris over me?
But exactly. But let's preview this.
Hold on, for Philadelphia, a city of brotherly love, rough and tough, blue collar people. I still find it funny that they praise a fictional character like he's Jesus. Don't get me wrong, Sylvester Stallone and Rocky is great, but can't we get a real athlete to praise there in Philadelphia? But again, they don't win championships in that city, so they gotta go to the movie character to write the script that gets them the win. But in that rough and tough city with the toughest media in the NFL and the NBA, Jimmy Butler is too mean for you? He's too mean for you, Joel Embiid? I mean, come on. They always talk about these Philadelphia teams. We want to represent the city. Tough, hard-nosed people. But nope, Jimmy Butler's too mean, and now we got a soft Embiid, a soft Harden, and their city's running to shit because they're letting kids run gas stations over left and right all the time. Now I'm going down a different rabbit hole, but Tobias Harris over me? Come on now.
Yeah, that and also though, like, the talk that Embiid's the greatest center of all time.
He wasn't even the MVP this year. It should have been Jokic. They just didn't want to go 3 in a row.
It should have been. Kendrick Perkins should be writing Kendrick Perkins a thank you note for getting him the MVP. That's the only reason that Embiid got it over Jokic. Go watch these the playoffs, and don't tell me. I mean, Joel Embiid couldn't do anything against Marcus Smart, who he has a 8-inch height advantage over. And the Celtics were smart enough too, because they're like, let's just get physical with him. He's going to get tired, and they wore him down. And that's exactly what they did.
To be fair, dealing with a knee sprain, he was only 3 weeks out. That I get that and all, but he tries to create too much around the 3-point line. Joel, you're a 7-foot physical specimen. Get down in the block. Work on your post moves. Look what Anthony Davis did against the Warriors. They couldn't stop him because he got the ball within 6 feet of the bucket, and he was just too athletic and too strong for Looney. Don't go out by the 3-point line. Dominate inside. If you got a bum knee, work on your post moves in this offseason and shoot 55%, because nobody should be able to stop you with the skill set he has. Some of those moves he had in the first half in Game 6 were stupid. 7-footer shouldn't be able to do that. But now work on your post game and shoot 55%. But Dylan, I'll give you another reason. There's one reason why, and I'm not going to say it. You can figure out why. There's one reason why they didn't want to give Jokic the MVP. I'll tell you off camera, but this is the league I'm talking about, and you know why. Because this, I believe, would have been the second three-peat MVP.
His third in a row.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think Larry Bird got 3 in a row. I don't know if any other NBA players got 3 MVPs in a row. If they would have given it to Jokic, him and Larry Bird have something in common. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, we won't go down that rabbit hole. Let's get into the preview of Lakers.
I didn't say it though.
I know you didn't. I know you didn't. But let's get into the preview of Lakers Nuggets here. Now, this is a rematch. Actually, both conference finals are rematches of the Disney championship,
the Mickey Mouse championship
of 2020 in the bubble. Yep. And neither team has lost a home game this year or in the playoffs. And I truly think the Nuggets are the best team in the NBA, in the league. I think they're the most consistent. Can they get over the hump? I think Jamal Murray is finally healthy. He's turning into one of my favorite players to watch. Something about him. Love watching him play. I'm glad he is healthy. Jokic is unguardable. That's one of the big question marks going in for the Lakers is who's going to be able to guard Jokic. Can Anthony Davis maintain the level of success he's having in the playoffs, who is probably the MVP for the Lakers right now? And LeBron playing at some of his best levels. He's doing a lot that doesn't show up on the stat book. He's still, in game 6 against the Warriors, 39-9-9 quietly. He's kind of let AD take over the role of being the number one scorer. And, guys like D'Angelo Russell is playing really well, and now his name is escaping me. You had a big game.
Lonnie Walker the fourth.
Yeah, Lonnie Walker too, and then in game 6 he did the same.
He had one quarter. One quarter he was good.
And then in game 6 though he came off the bench and gave him some good minutes. Austin Reeves, people are treating him as a superstar in this league.
What's up with white dudes on the Lakers that people just fall in love with? Caruso, Austin Reeves. What's up? Or maybe it's a LeBron thing. We had Delly, there in Cleveland. The Birdman in Miami, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. What is it about LeBron that just brings out the fandom for these people?
I don't know, but in the end, for me, we get to. Well, I guess we'll let you guys talk, and then we'll give our prediction here at the end.
Oh boy, I just think the Nuggets are better than everyone else. Like it's just that simple. Like Jokic is a freak. Like you said, Murray, and even in the Timberwolves series, unconscious. Like he hit some shots that people probably should never hit in their lives, and he hit like 7 or 8 a game. Like the T-Wolves had no chance of stopping him. Same thing in the Sun series. They couldn't stop them to save their life either. They're just playing so goddamn good offensively. Lakers are not going to beat them.
Well, and the other part, what's crazy too is we were like a minute away from this being a first round matchup. If the Wolves don't piss it away, this would have been the first round matchup.
Well, and the piece for Denver that no one in the media is talking about, not getting enough credit to, is one, Matt Malone is the head coach, but two, look at their other role player, Aaron Gordon. People are now actually talking about him as a good basketball player, not just some guy who lost his accolade in the dunk contest. KCP bringing in veteran minutes, shooting a good percentage from behind the arc, playing good defense. Michael Porter Jr. looks like his back is finally healthy. He's becoming an absolute stud. Jeff Green, the old Georgetown player for the Celtics, he's coming in, bringing a spark off the bench for this.
It's crazy he's still in the league.
16th
I'm pretty sure he was playing. It felt like he was like 5 years in when we were like 11.
Remember,
he's just been around forever.
He had open heart surgery like 12 years ago, and he's still kicking it. So just Denver, they come at you in waves, and it kind of, and you compare them to an NFL team this year, guys. I think they're the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at Denver play, there's no holes on this roster, and they're just so good. They're so dominant. They come at you in so many different ways that if
they just wear you down almost.
And they start so fast, just like the Eagles. And before you know it, it's the end of the first quarter, and they have 36 points. They have 81 points at halftime, and you don't know what hit you. And Jokic is the Joker. He's just making some passes that are just absolutely just ridiculous and putting up these triple doubles. it's incredible. And if the Lakers, if they want a chance in this series, Lonnie Walker the fourth, he can't have a good fourth quarter. He's going to have to give him a game where he gets 25. D'Angelo's going to have to shoot 40% from behind the arc. Austin Reeves is going to have to probably average 17 to 20 points a game. The Lakers, they're going to have to play just ungodly good to
Davis
win
is
this
going to have
series.
to average 35.
Yep, Davis 35. LeBron's going to have to do what he did against the Warriors in games 5, 6, and 7. He's going to have to just be ballistic. This Denver team is just loaded, and they come at you so many different ways. And I'm telling you what, man, I don't want to go to Ball Arena. That place looks intimidating.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now. And
Yeah. Well, they just wear you down. That's like what you said, Grant. Like that's a perfect analogy because that's exactly how they play. Like if the Nuggets were a football team, they would run the ball 50 times a game. They would take a couple of the occasional deep shots, but they would just go body blow, body blow. Wow, it's a lot of B's. Body blow, body blow, body blow. And they don't stop.
No.
And then they'll in the fourth quarter they just land knockout punches and before you know it, similar to the game 6 against the Suns where the game was close for the first like 6 quarter and a half, and then all of a sudden quarter, I think it was not even like probably first 8 minutes, and then all of a sudden the first quarter ends and you look up, what the hell, Denver is up by 18. Yeah. How did this happen?
Well, and then also I was going to say another thing for the Lakers, if they want a chance in this series, Dennis Schroeder is going to have to play the best defensive series of his life on Jamal Murray. And like Ethan said, if he's making those shots like he did against the Timberwolves, you can't stop it. I mean, some of those, there's nothing you can do. Good offense beats good defense all the time in the NBA. And then you see this guy in the Lakers bench all the time. I know he hasn't played yet. You got to wonder, maybe I'm just going out for a limb here. Maybe they needed a body because someone was injured, but are they going to bring in Tristan Thompson just to put someone else on Jokic and maybe try to wear him down, get another 6 fouls so Davis doesn't have to worry about it?
I think that's something in the cards for sure. I think that's probably why they brought that. That's why you bring a guy like him in to give you 8 to 10 minutes a game and then to wear a guy like Jokic down.
Maybe he can come in.
Even Jokic doesn't play great defense. You could get a couple of cheap fouls on him and get him out of the game.
And maybe just also someone else to help come in and dominate the boards. So Jokic and Denver, they don't come at you with those offensive rebounds and come at in waves. Again, maybe I'm just looking for something that's not there, but if I'm the Lakers, I got anything and everything to win this series. And I think Tristan Thompson is an option as a big body off the bench.
Am I the only one who thinks it's stupid how the stars in the NBA never get in foul trouble?
They're just smart players, Ethan.
No, that's not a thing. It's stupid. It doesn't make this fun.
Well, like on Friday night when Draymond's shoves the in Dennis Schroeder's
what is
face,
Schroeder
and
supposed to do?
Schroeder gets the technical.
What is Schroeder supposed to do?
I watched that. I'm like, and that's like Draymond whining about that. Well, it's like Draymond, you have you have a reputation. I think they did it just so like he wouldn't say anything, and that's the only thing that makes sense to me is Draymond Green's a bigger star than Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder must have said something. We're gonna tee him up,
and to kick him out of the game for that. Like what Mark Jackson said on the broadcast, if you're going to give someone that second technical, they need to think about that long and hard. If you're going to kick someone out of the game, like it needs to be egregious. I mean, unless you're calling someone a name or you're saying something to someone you shouldn't say, like what Chris Jones must have said to Matt Ryan in week 3 this year in that Chiefs Colts game. But when we're teeing guys up for the second time, it's got to be like you almost criminal.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Unless you're clubbing someone in the head, like it's the 80s and you're playing Detroit. But I mean, come on. Just the dude shoved a ball in his
bring back 80s basketball.
The dude shoved a ball in the dude got a ball shoved in his face. Draymond just said, "Get the fuck out of here." What are you going to do?
Well, and Schroeder didn't even look like he did anything. He just stood there.
And again, he probably said something the ref didn't like. and said, well, the Lakers are going to destroy the Warriors in this game. The championship's done for this year. Let's make it somewhat relevant and give the Warriors a chance. All right, yep, Schroeder's gone. Let's keep Draymond in.
Yeah, well, and the Lakers were lucky that they were up and in control of that game. But I mean, that's like a 5-10 point game. We could have had another game 7 on Sunday, but we didn't. And let's get to predictions here. And like Ethan said, I think the Nuggets are the better team. I think they can go into Crypto Arena
Staples Center
and
Staples
steal
Center.
a game.
Stop
It'll
it.
always be Staples
Center forever.
It's Crypto Arena. We're going to be correct here.
Nope.
No matter what we think.
Nope.
Yep.
Staples Center forever.
Yep. It's Crypto Arena. It says it on the court.
I don't give a
It's
damn
real.
what the court says.
You don't. Well, I'm sorry that the facts hurt your feelings. You can go
In
cry
this
about it somewhere else.
I identify that arena as Staples Center, and I'm sticking to it.
I don't care about what you choose. I focus on truth, and the truth is, it is Crypto Arena, and we're arguing about something stupid here, and you're wrong. So we're going that I think the Nuggets steal a game, whether it be, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers steal a game. I fully expect this game to be 2-2 going when it goes back to Denver for game 5. And I think in the end, I think the Nuggets, they wear down the Lakers. I don't think Tristan Thompson is in shape enough to give consistent minutes that's needed. And I think the Nuggets advance to the NBA Finals in 6 games.
I'll say Nuggets in 5, just to go one up you.
Okay.
And Dylan, we agree here. I'm gonna go Nuggets in 6.
Okay. Got it. So we got Nuggets in 6, Nuggets in 6, Nuggets in 5. Probably going to be Lakers in 7. And let's go on to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics versus Heat. Game 1 is Wednesday night, so by the time this episode drops, we won't be recapping game 1 of that. But Celtics, they've been one of the best teams in the NBA all season. The Heat have kind of limped in. They got off to a slow start, had some injuries they finally overcome, and then had more injuries when the playoffs started, losing Oladipo and Tyler Hero. I think there's a chance that if they make it to the NBA Finals, Tyler Hero might be able to play. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Celtics are the best team. Jason Tatum, he is the best player in this series. I think he sometimes chooses not to take over games. I think he needs to. I think when the game is on the line, I don't think the ball should leave his hand ever, and just go and make the play, be that dog like he was in game 6 and then in game 7 where he dropped 51 against the Sixers. And I think the Heat, if I have a prediction, I think, and we're recording this ahead of game 1, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to say that the Heat go and steal game 1 in Boston. I think the Celtics played a very emotional series up and down against a longtime rival. I think they might come out a little bit tired, exhausted, a little bit sluggish, and I think that's going to be enough. The Heat, they've been rested. They've got been laid up in Miami, not worried about the Heat there, and I think the Heat steal game 1. And then after that, I think the Celtics win in 5. I don't think the Heat have enough to compete with them. I think the Celtics are on a mission to make up from last year. And I think the Celtics in 5 games. Well, and we should have waited for predictions, but you know what? I screwed it up. So I guess when you guys are done giving your preview, you go ahead and give your predictions.
Honestly, I think I agree quite a bit with what you just said somehow, Dylan, believe it or not. But no, I think
it happens more often than you think.
I know. I think the Heat still game 1 too. I think Tatum, as great as he was in game 7, he might come off like a little hangover, like a little bit of a game hangover. Just came off like arguably the best game 7 performance of all time.
Most points.
Yeah, most points. I mean, it's hard to argue it. They beat the hell out of him, but he was the reason why. So I think he might go a little bit slower. They might just be a little sluggish as a team. Heat take them, win that. But then I'm right with you. I think they win in 5. They reel off 4 in a row. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Heat because obviously they won 8 games to get here, but the Bucks were not healthy. Giannis was not healthy even when he played, which is obviously a huge factor for that Bucks team. And 2, they played the Knicks, a paper tiger, in the playoffs. Like they were all year. It's the Knicks. They're not unless I don't know. They're just the Knicks. They might have a great record, but they haven't done anything relative or like good in relatively over a decade at least.
The last time they were in the finals, we were Ethan and I were,
and it was in a shortened season. It was a shortened season.
Yeah.
It was in '99. Or no,
Yeah.
they made it
99.
in '99.
Yeah, so it's like they just haven't done anything. Like the Heat have actually been there. They have the advantage there. Like the Knicks have to earn it, and they got their ass kicked.
And I think this is where they're going to miss the presence of Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo.
Yes.
And with the Knicks is you can't win. You can't go deep in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson is a great player, but with your top 2 scorers being Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, you're not going to win many series. I don't think you're going to. You can win a lot of regular season games, but I don't think you can win and go deep in the playoffs with those 2 as your guys. You're going to need a true alpha dog number 1. Like, there's been a lot of talk of Damian Lillard being traded to go there. But even then, Damian Lillard doesn't play any defense, and I don't know how that would work with Tom Thibodeau.
Is that just Stephen A's wish list, and people are now saying that's a rumor?
No,
I've seen that. I've also seen Nick Wright say that too.
Dan Barreiro was talking about it yesterday, so there must be some sort of steam behind it.
Mike,
but he also doesn't want to play with Randall.
Well, yeah, and with Brunson, no one's going to get the basketball, and you're going to have no team. You're going to have an improved roster on paper, but you're still going to be at best a second-round team.
Yeah.
But I don't. For me, guys, Dylan, I think you're spot on here. Without Oladipo and Tyler Hero, that hurts Miami in this series because Duncan Robinson played great against the Knicks. Bam Adebayo, he's up and down. You have Strauss, Gabriel Vincent. But that's not enough. That's not a full deck of cards against a good Celtics team. Jimmy's going to get his, but the Celtics are going to come at him in waves. You're going to have Marcus Smart on his ass like glue. Jaylen Brown was not going to be afraid to get in his face to try to lock him down. If he goes in the paint, Horford and Robert Williams are going to be all up in his stuff. I just don't know. And let's not forget, in the regular season, Miami was one of the worst offensive teams in the league. They've kind of gotten hot here in the playoffs, but if they fall back to what they were in the regular season, the Celtics are just going to come at them in waves. With Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown leading the way, I think it's just going to be a little too much. I'll give Miami one more game than what you guys said, so I'll go Celtics in 6. So for the second year in a row, the Celtics and the Heat season in Miami on the home court of the Heat.
All righty. Well, and that's also a rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble. Mm-hmm. And so we've got Heat. And the other part with Jason Tatum, too, is that 51-point performance was great. But no one ever talks about the semifinals of the NBA playoffs. He's got to do it. He wants more. He knows that and I think he understands that. Yeah, I played great, but no one's going to remember that game if we don't go out and make it to the finals and play or win
especially
it. So he's got to go do it. Got to go keep doing
especially with the egg he kind of laid last year in the finals. His first time on the big stage, and he kind of disappeared games 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, and so with that, we'll provide an update next week with the NBA Finals. So let's go. The NFL schedule is released on Thursday, and every team's going 17-0. The schedule sets up perfectly for everybody, and we're gonna preview. And as the season gets closer, we'll discuss our team's games. But just as a little bit, stay on top of things. We pick we're going to pick our top 5 games from the NFL season for this upcoming year that are not our favorite teams. So, guys, I'll start. We'll just go one by one our top 5. So, and I don't have it ranked 5 through 1. I just wrote down 5 games that I'm really excited for. So I'm going to start, and I kind of just went in order of the weeks that I thought were interesting. So I'll start it off in week 2. I have the Chiefs traveling down to Jacksonville. Chiefs knocked the Jags out of the playoffs last year in a gutsy performance by Mahomes with a sprained ankle. Now, this game is week 2, 11 a.m. on Fox. Now, it's going to be played at the hottest part of the day. It's going to be hot. It's going to be sweaty.
Kansas City's in red.
We're going to see really what – Yep, Chiefs will be dressed in red. We're going to see how much improvement this Jacksonville team has made, if they've made the right steps to go and try to get over the proverbial hump of the Chiefs, and see if they can compete in the AFC this year along with the Bills. Now the Jets with Aaron Rodgers there. The Bengals are always going to be a tough out. So we're going to see if the Jaguars can put themselves in that upper echelon of teams in the AFC.
All right.
Are you doing all yours, or we're just doing?
We're going one by one. So
Okay.
I did one now. Whoever wants to go.
So we want to go
first.
snake order
Or next. Yeah, we can go snake order.
I can go. So Ethan, he can go twice after me.
Yeah, I like going twice.
Everybody does, if you know what I'm saying, baby. The first matchup I got, guys. I'm starting in week 8. Week 8 at the earliest. We're getting towards the end of October, November, when the real football is being played. Cincinnati travels to San Francisco. And why this is a big deal for me? Well, Cincinnati is playing another team with a great defensive line. In the last 2 years, what has killed them? A bad offensive line and injuries on the offensive line, not being able to protect Joe Burrow. You're playing the Niners, Nick Bosa, Hargrave, Eric Armstead. It just, that defense, they're going to come at you. I know D'Amico Ryans isn't there anymore, but they have the same defensive line coach. Kyle Shanahan's still the head coach. They're going to be a nasty physical team. An early test on the road. Can the Bengals protect Burrow against that pass rush in San Francisco? So week 8, Bengals, 49ers. I'm excited for it.
I started out right at the very beginning. Eagles at Patriots, week 1.
Ooh.
Good choice. I thought about that one, Ethan. I did.
Yeah, you got defending runner-up, NFC champ going to the house of the best coach ever. I think Belichick's probably the best ever. But on top of that, you have Tom Brady being retired too as a Patriot. So the boys' home. I think the tickets right now, the cheapest price is $800 to get in. So that place is gonna be nuts. Like, I don't think you're gonna get a more raucous crowd, however you want to say it, than when Tom Brady's being retired, back home, his first game since being let go, basically. But it's gonna get weird up in New England.
And in a weird way, catch this: Bill O'Brien's first game back. Are the Patriots gonna have some tricks up their sleeves?
Oh, absolutely.
And also, let's not forget. Hey guys, let's not forget. Sorry to take over your pick here, Ethan. Juju Smith-Schuster had that Valentine's troll of James Bradbury. Where did Juju go in the offseason? He went to New England. He's going to get a chance. He's going to get a chance to go up against that Eagles secondary week 1. Oof. And I hope before the game, him and A.J. Brown meet at midfield. Oh, boy. That would be fun to see.
Juju will be doing it in the middle of the TikTok, and A.J. comes up and ruins it.
Juju will be doing his thing.
And the other part too is the chess match that Bill Belichick's going to have all offseason, and he's already working on drawing up game plans to figure out how to stop. And so and you know what, this is a bold prediction, but you know what, we say what we think here on this podcast, and I think I think the Patriots knock off the Eagles in week 1.
Totally could see it.
So, and now Ethan, you've got 2. So go pick your next one.
We're doing the Bills at the Jets. One of the best QB showdowns you're going to get all year. Mr. Josh Allen going against Mr. Tom Brady up in the Meadowlands.
Aaron Rodgers.
That's a good fun one. Or Aaron Rodgers. Who did I say? Tom Brady? I was still
Yeah.
stuck on
He's still stuck on the goat.
no. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback. So I didn't look and see what week this is, but I know
week
it's
one.
relatively. Is it week 1 too? I was gonna say it's relatively early, so you'll get.
That's the Monday night game, isn't it?
Yeah, and guys, not to hijack you, Ethan here, but what's cool is that's
fine.
it's on September 11th in New York City.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Monday night, September 11th. So that'll be cool. They gave the Giants a home game, the Sunday night before. So the two New York teams on the anniversary of the terrorist attack get primetime home games. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool. I didn't realize that. Very cool.
Yeah. So back to Grant.
So I know earlier I bashed the city of Philadelphia for being soft, but we got an NFC East showdown week 9 when the Dallas Cowboys go to the Link. And the reason why I'm so excited for this game, guys, is hopefully, fingers crossed, both teams have a full deck when they play. Because last year when they played, one team starting quarterback was out of each game. And then you know what? Dallas, say what you want. They're still a top 3 team in the NFC. How is this offense going to look week 9 without Zeke? Tony Pollard, are they going to run the ball more? Are they going to be a little more balanced? How good is this defense going to be? Are they going to be able to get after Jalen Hurts? And just disrupt him. And it's an NFC East battle. It's going to be an entertaining game. It's going to have some crazy, ridiculous dookie finish that we can't explain. And I can already tell Dylan is getting nervous for this game because he might have to listen to Eagles fans talk for a week, just with how annoying they are. So
we should find an Eagles fan to come on the podcast that week.
That would just be pure entertainment.
We don't even talk, Grant. We just
Yep.
You know what the worst part about it is like I actually enjoy if they didn't have the stupid feathers on their helmet, I would love watching the Eagles play, but they play in that god awful city. They wear those god awful helmets. Take that away. And you know what? I love Jason Kelce. Jalen Hurts is a hard guy to root against. That D line, if of how to build a football team, I would build it exactly how the Eagles would build it. So, I respect the Eagles, and you know what? I don't want to think about it because there's a lot that has to be done before that game. And you know what, Grant, you're right. I do hope that both teams are healthy and we get a fair fight. But you got anything else for this game?
Again, I think it's the first matchup of the year. It's week 9. You're into the season. Every team should be comfortable with where they're at, and this could go a long way in terms of playoff seedings. And after watching last year's Super Bowl, Greg Olsen, Kevin Burkhardt, they're slowly becoming my favorite broadcast duo. They're going to be on this game. It's on Fox. It's going to be an NFC East battle. I'm excited. Let's go.
Yeah, well, and it's different this year with the NFL scheduling is that there's the conferences aren't married to a one network where you're going to see, and you saw it a little bit this year with where there were some games that were on Fox that normally would be on like an all AFC matchup on Fox or a all NFC matchup on CBS, but now it's kind of the Wild West of sorts. There's going to be a playoff game that's going to be streamed on Peacock only. They just announced today on Monday. So, it's going to be interesting as far as that goes, and it's going to progress because they already have the Amazon Prime one as well. So, and then the Sunday Ticket is moved over to YouTube TV. So that's going to be something too, I think, to keep an eye on for the ratings nerds and the ratings wars and all that, and see how viewership goes, because I wouldn't be shocked within 10 years where everything is exclusively streamed, which I hope does not happen, because for a number of reasons, especially if you have terrible connection and everything seems more delayed on streaming. But that brings me up here, and I'm just going off on a tangent, but back to the games. So my second one is I have the Chiefs, and I was making this list. I was like, man, there's way too many Chiefs games, so I have to figure out how to get them away, from the Chiefs, because they're always must-see TV because they're on all the time. But we, knock on wood, we get our first Patrick Mahomes Aaron Rodgers matchup in Week 4 on Sunday Night Football. I don't have to say any more to explain this game. It's Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, or Patrick Rodgers, Aaron Mahomes, which I almost said, and then I stopped myself and I said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to say it anyways. And we were robbed of it in 2019 when Patrick Mahomes was hurt, and then we were robbed of it in 2021 when Aaron Rodgers had COVID, had COVID and was not able to play. So and if everything goes as planned, and as long as the Jets keep Aaron Rodgers upright, which is a big if, we're going to get to see our first matchup of those two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Well, and Dylan, if we're going snake, it's your turn. Oh, yep, sorry.
Yes, yep. And now, so we're going to go we're going to go to Week 8, and my first NFC team, and I kind of struggled picking NFC teams because, the stipulation was we can't have our favorite teams. And I truly think that this isn't being a homer. And if you've listened to the podcast, I am the furthest thing from a Cowboys homer. I say things like it is. But I truly think Dallas has a top 3 roster. They are right there with the Niners, the Eagles, with the Niners and the Eagles. I think they're, like Grant said earlier, they're a top 3 roster in the NFC. So I'm going with Week 8, Bengals versus 49ers, the afternoon 2:25 game on CBS in Week 8. I think we're going to see who's going to be playing quarterback for the Niners. Is it going to be Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, or Brock Purdy? We don't know yet. And then, Joe Burrow as well. They're got to travel all the way out west. That game is going to be a 4:25 start for them. We'll see how they handle it. That's kind of in that ugly, gloomy weather area around that time. It's going to be in November. Playoff baseball will be going. So, I think this is going to be a good test. I think, two teams that have that Grant already said, so I don't really need to explain a whole lot to it, but definitely, possibly an NDSU matchup too with Cordell Volson and Trey Lance. Maybe Trey Lance will be the starter. We don't know, but that's who I have as my third game.
All right, yeah. So for my third game, guys, we're going to take it to Thanksgiving weekend. We had Thanksgiving on Thursday. Everyone had their turkey. We woke up Black Friday. We had I think Iowa plays Wisconsin this year on Black Friday. There's also the first NFL Black Friday game, and then we shift to Saturday. We got Ohio State, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin. So how are we gonna end the football weekend and the holiday weekend? With 2 Titans out on the East Coast, the Buffalo Bills going to the Link and playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Because this is in the middle of the stretch in the season. I can't remember the exact games when they play, guys, but Philadelphia plays, I think, 6 straight playoff teams from last year. And Buffalo is at either the first or the second game down this stretch, where it's time if the Eagles want to do something, they got to nut up right now. And then also around Thanksgiving, December, this is when Buffalo kind of fades in the year. They got a big game on the road. In years past, Buffalo would lose this game unless it was a regular season game in Kansas City. But like I said,
no, and Grant, it is Iowa, Nebraska on Black Friday, so that has not changed.
I for some reason thought Nebraska played Minnesota this year to start the year.
No, they didn't switch it.
Oh yeah, Nebraska plays Minnesota to start the year, but the Black Friday game is Iowa, Nebraska still. You thought it was Iowa, Wisconsin, but
yeah, that's right. It maybe was going to be that, but then they switched it. I'm sorry, but still, back to the NFL. This is typically the time of the year when the Bills kind of start to fade. In a tough NFC East, you can't fade down the stretch. You're going to miss the playoffs or be a wild card team. Philadelphia's got the stretch of playoff teams. I think they got San Francisco the next week, actually. So they can't look ahead to that rematch with the Niners talking all the shit they've talked this offseason. And it's the first time, I believe, in the pros we're going to get Josh Allen versus Jalen Hurts. It should be fun. It should be exciting, high scoring. Sean McDermott spent some years in Philadelphia as a defensive coordinator under Andy Reid. He's going back there as a head coach. Just 2 top 5, top 6 teams in the league. Nothing can cap off a holiday weekend better than Bills Eagles.
I'm going West Coast, but we're going with one of the greatest rivalries in NFL history. The winner of this game actually takes the lead in the all-time series, 20-19-1. Uh, Dallas at the 49ers.
No shit.
Ooh, yep.
Yep, I just looked
Yep.
that up. 19-19 and one tie as of right now.
Interesting.
So whoever wins gets the lead and the bragging rights for a little bit at least. But no, two great rosters, if not two of the
Well,
top.
Ethan, I'll stop you there. The Niners have the bragging rights because they've ended the Cowboys season the last 2 years.
They do have a winning streak. So they have the current bragging rights. You're correct. But no, I think it's easily two of the best five rosters in the entire league. So it should be an absolute war. Oh,
Two battles of the trenches as well. Yeah, but you're right. I think this is could be a potential NFC championship matchup.
Absolutely. Fourth game, I win Bengals at Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's going to be a lot better this year. They're going to be one of the up and coming teams. They have a lot of talent. It's just a matter of whether that defense is good. They got Ridley in there, so that could be a really good game. Jacksonville has a good pass rush now. Can the Bengals O line keep up with that D line, like Grant already mentioned?
And guys, I thought about this game, and you know what's cool about it? Shout out to Duval County getting a home game on Monday night. When was the last time Monday night was at Jacksonville?
It's a while.
12 years?
Yeah, at least probably.
I mean, so that's kind of cool, and it'd be good for them. And then for me, guys, we're going back to the holidays here. Christmas Day, 7:00. Everybody's going to be done with presents, food, family. You're going to be stuffed. You want to sit back, enjoy the night. Well, let's watch the Baltimore Ravens play the San Francisco 49ers.
Ooh, that's
again, kind of just like how I said Buffalo at the end of my last game, they kind of slide towards the end of the year. Lamar Jackson has been hurt for the Ravens these last 2 years, and he's missed some time down the stretch. Is he going to be healthy enough? And if he can stay healthy for a full 17-game season, Baltimore's going to be right there with the Bengals for an AFC North title. They're going to need this game. San Francisco, like I've said twice now, I'm looking forward to their games. They're going to be right there. How good can Seattle be? Are they going to be fighting for an NFC West title? Are they going to be battling for seeding in the NFC? By this point, they've already played Philadelphia. They've already played Dallas. They're going to need to stack up every single win they can get. Because this is just me. When it comes January, I don't really want to have to fly across country to Philadelphia or go halfway across the country to play Dallas. I'd rather have those guys come to my turf. And to beat a good Ravens team, on Christmas night, late in the year, it's going to be exciting. Another fun way to end a holiday. Monday night, watching some good football, two good teams. Lamar Jackson, hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully the Niners have their quarterback situation figured out. And this game's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, former Harbaugh of sorts, and the Ravens are kind of a team keep an eye on for sure. After we'll see how they work out with those their new weapons that for Lamar. Lamar got paid and seems to be happy. Hopefully they can avoid the injury bug as well, which seems to have plagued them over the years. But back to me here. And these are my last two. I'm going to stay in week 8, but we're going to go over across the pond here. We're going to go over to London, where the Jags are playing the Bills in week 8, a 7:30 game on NFL Network. I think these are two teams that they've been on the fence forever. Grant says, this is about where Buffalo, or a little bit before Buffalo starts to fade. Is this where Buffalo starts to fade? Because I really struggled I didn't have Bills Bengals or Bills Chiefs because I think those two teams are far ahead. And I'm ready to chain the Bills until they prove that they can go and make it back to the AFC conference title game. But with Jags Bills in London, I think this game, we're going to see. I think this game could determine who is the 3 or the 4 seed in the AFC. Or a potential first round matchup because, with the Jets in the Jets getting Aaron Rodgers, I think the AFC East is a question mark of who's who's the favorite, because I think this is wide open.
And if Tua can stay healthy, what about the Dolphins?
Yep, and if Mac Jones doesn't turn the ball over, and I think with an actual offensive coordinator, not a not a space nerd calling the plays, I think Mac Jones is going to be better than what he was last year.
And then your last one there, Big Cat?
And then my last one is week 12. And then you know what? The rest from week 13 to week 17 up, they're all must-watch games because that's when the playoffs are determined. That's when the seeds take place. You remember December. You know, college football, they say remember November. NFL, you remember December. And that's where the sausage is going to get made. That's how we're going to see the playoffs shape up. I'm going to go a rematch of the NFC Championship game, and hopefully two healthy quarterbacks, so it's a fair fight. The 49ers versus Eagles in Week 12 on the 225 Fox game. I think both teams are they're going to be. We're going to have an idea of what they are, and I think that hopefully we can get a good battle and a fair fight, which we did not get to see in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, boys, here for my last game. Again, I got a similar team in the NFC. I've mentioned them once already, so we're going to see them again. December 30th, the Detroit Lions play the Dallas Cowboys. Again, playoff seeding could be on the line. Detroit, they're the hot upstart team. People are real confident in this year. You know, Dallas is tried and true. Where's Dallas going to be? Is Detroit, are they going to be able to turn it on this year and compete for an NFC North title, be in the playoffs, or are they going to listen to the media a little too much, listen to NFL, giving them the opening night game, and kind of fade? But even if they do fade and they're not in the playoffs, Dan Campbell's going to have this football team ready to play. And if Dallas has an opportunity to win an NFC East that night or do something to get a good spot in the wild card round where they have to play the 4 seed like they did last year, Detroit's going to come in there guns a-blazing, and they're going to give Dallas everything they got. It's a primetime game. It's the only game going on at that time. And I kind of hope the Lions can live up to the hype, that they had this year, because this would be a fun game to have, down there in Jerry World. So my final game, Detroit, Dallas, week 17.
I know I didn't rank these 1 through 5 or anything, but I feel like this is without a doubt the number one game all season. I've named one of the teams already, but rematch at the Super Bowl, Eagles at the Chiefs in November. Going to be a cold ass night down at Arrowhead. How are they going to react to it up down in Philly to that just insane crowd? But that's going to be incredible. Like, they're going to be absolutely nuts.
And yeah, to your point, Ethan, Monday night, everyone in the world is going to be watching. And
I don't think there's a close second.
No, I mean, the one close second I could come up with would be another rematch in the playoffs last year, Chiefs Bengals.
Yeah, I almost put that on there. But I was like, you could have picked the Chiefs and the Eagles for this whole goddamn list.
Oh God, yeah.
That was exactly what my thought was as I was putting it together. I was like, oh yeah, yeah. So, well, and then before we wrap up the schedules here, let's pick I guess you could say your favorite of teams that did not make the playoffs to make one this year. Just pick one. Who are you guys picking to make the playoffs that didn't make it last year?
This is easy for me. Saints. Terrible division. You get Derek Carr. Second year of Dennis Allen. I think it's his name, right?
Yep.
If I remember right. I mean, get Olave. I'm trying to think. They got Michael Thomas might come back healthy. Kamara, you get the rookie running back to pair with him. I think they could be really improved, and that division's so goddamn bad. 9 and 8 could really win that. Get into the 4 seed.
8 and 9 got you the 4 seed last year.
Yeah.
I mentioned this team before. My last game. Maybe it's low hanging fruit here, but I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna say the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
The way they ended last year, going into Lambeau, beating Aaron Rodgers, doing like what we said they were going to do, ruining playoff seeds for some teams. Hell, if the Vikings don't lose to those guys, guess what? They're the 2 seed and they play Seattle. Maybe they get a dub and things are different. With all the additions they have to that secondary, Jared Goff another year in the system. You get rid of DeAndre Swift. You bring in Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery. They got Mo, who will make that team, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
My guy Sam Laporta coming in. They gave him 87, so they gave him TJ's number. No, TJ was 88 there. Never mind. Sam Laporta coming in with the new tight end, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Their offense was a top 5 offense last year. In year 3, can Dan Campbell finally turn this thing around where they're biting kneecaps off? So I'm gonna go Detroit.
I'm gonna have a homer
Okay.
bold prediction here. Mo Ibrahim has a better career than Jahmyr Gibbs for Detroit.
Ooh.
Homer.
Ooh, that is
Call it out. It's fine.
that is juicy. But I was gonna go with Detroit here, but they just announced not too long ago that Ford Field is switching from Pepsi to Coke. You go to Coke, you go broke. So I'm out on the Lions, and my team is. I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Yeah.
They go out, they sign Aaron Rodgers. They have a good roster, they have good receivers. They've invested in the offensive line. We'll see if it pays off. I think they have a solid defense as well, a good defensive head coach. And in a very competitive but also wide open, I think the Bills have regressed. We don't know what we're getting with the Patriots. Can Tua stay healthy? I like the Jets to go and win the AFC East. So bookmark this. And I think the Jets find their end the longest playoff drought in the current playoff drought in the NFL and find their way back into the playoffs.
Hey, boys, I think we just picked 3 divisions right there.
Yeah.
We did.
3 separate division winners.
So, okay, yeah, and Ethan was the most surprising one, which shouldn't surprise us because it's
such
Ethan.
A great pick because nobody's talking about the NFC
It is.
South.
No.
And they have the best quarterback in that division. I mean, Jesus Christ, everyone else is either the Red Rifle, who's going to be benched in week 6, Baker on his 4th team in 9 calendar months.
Ritter.
What's Desmond Ritter going to be like with he's got 2 nice running backs there, but the rookie and a second-year guy in Atlanta?
They're getting so much publicity, the Falcons are, and all because they took Bijan Robinson, but they have so many other glaring weaknesses. Get me out of here with that.
Well, God, their defense is.
I don't know what you're going to get out of Desmond Ritter.
Yeah.
I mean, he played last year. I mean, I the one stat that you like is in his 4 starts, he didn't throw an interception. Again, it's 4 games, and who knows? Arthur Smith, could have been making him do soft toss there, and it was easy. But I mean, we'll see. I almost went with Atlanta, but to Ethan's point, that division is so bad. Who knows? Maybe they mess around and get hot, and Atlanta's offense scores a bunch of points. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our NFL schedule prediction. We'll have more as the season comes out. And let's go. It's book club time, boys. It is book club time. History of Heartbreak by Dan Minnesota. And this week we are in chapters 3 and 4, and we're going to start off with Court Jesters, which is Minnesota.
It was what the
very once proud
the Timberwolves, right? Well, Timberwolves / Lakers.
Timberwolves, Lakers, the Minnesota Muskies as well here. Which the first one in this chapter is the Minneapolis Lakers. Their airplane just goes missing. They just fall off the grid, and they end up landing in where's the town at here? In Carroll, Iowa. They land in Carroll, Iowa, and and Minnesota has a history of cheap owners, and this is for every sport of what we've read so far. And as we get into the baseball one, it definitely
that's worse.
We'll see why.
That's worse.
Yeah, that's worse. And the owner at the time was Bob Short, and when they they found a way to get back, and then they hopped back on the plane and they had to use fire trucks to land in Carroll, Iowa, which is actually kind of a cool story. Is on the 50th anniversary of this, the LA Lakers now they donated $25,000 to the city of Carroll, Iowa, and I think I tweeted you guys that or sent you guys the link for that when it was tweeted out at some point over the summer was that they built in 2010 to kind of as like a thank you in dedication to the plane landing.
Because the people in the town turn all their lights on so it could land safely.
Yeah, fire trucks. Yeah. Yep. And so the owner got a call that the plane had landed in a cornfield in Iowa. And then Elgin Baylor, who was playing for the Lakers at the time, he said he didn't even realize. Said it was the smoothest landing that he ever felt. And and then the first person to approach the plane when it landed was a mortician to see if everybody was still alive. And then they had to fly their next trip. They had to fly on the same plane. And the teams, some of the players didn't want to do it, and then their owners said they'll lose their job if they didn't get on. So that Minnesota sports, that sometimes you just gotta laugh.
Well, and the best one was this: is when they moved to Los Angeles, they were getting back on the plane, and Elgin Baylor asked the current owner. He said, "I've seen this plane before. Where'd you get it?" And he goes, "Well, I bought it from some SOB named Bob Short."
Who was the owner?
Was the owner? It's funny.
And then the next one is the tough one. The Lakers moved to Los Angeles, and what's crazy about this is the success that the Lakers had in Minneapolis, and they still were not able to draw fan attendance. They had some, George Mikan, who when a couple of episodes ago, Ross Brendel had on his Mount Rushmore of Minnesota sports, and then was also the commissioner of the ABA. Elgin Baylor played for a while. Some of the other guys that I don't know. Maybe our dads remember them, and then also Bud Grant played for the Lakers for a few years.
2 points a game.
And then after, yep, and then, they were. The tough part about it is the Lakers were considered a dynasty. They won 6 championships in 7 years, and they still couldn't get fans to show up. And what makes you wonder what could have been if they would have found a way to stay there, but they didn't. And the Minnesota has the Timberwolves.
Do we want to pick our favorite ones out from each chapter?
We could, yeah. The Wolves, they trade away their first Timberwolf. They also tried to move the team to New Orleans. When they traded away the first Timberwolf, it was part of the expansion draft, and they take Rick Mahorn, who didn't even play for the Wolves.
Well, you feel bad for Rick Mahorn. He just wins a championship in Detroit, and then at the parade they go, "Oh, hey, by the way, we're shipping you off to Minnesota to play for some expansion team." What? That would be just the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah. And, the one that we remember the most is in 2004. And I don't remember a lot of the Sam Cassell injury, but I remember watching that Wolves team. KG was the MVP of the league. And Latrell Sprewell was, he had some problems previously, and he kind of was a really nice piece for them as well. And then Sam Cassell gets hurt, and a lot of people say that if he was healthy, they probably beat the Lakers and they faced the Pistons in the NBA Finals, and who knows? But that was the only time the Wolves have ever won a playoff series, and were those two that year.
Well, and one I thought was crazy, guys, when they got caught making that secret deal for Joe Smith,
This is my favorite one. This is so
Like
stupid.
they honestly thought they could get away with this, where they signed, I don't know if he was an all-star at the time, but a player to a 1-year, $1 million deal with his bird rights to go over the salary cap. I've never heard of this. Why is this the first time I've ever heard of something like this? Like,
Why does it matter?
and to take 5 first-round picks from an organization, that just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so stupid. What if he signs a $5 million 1-year deal 3 times? Like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah. So it's just a series of 1-year deals, and they could sign other people and pay him more.
Which is basically what it is now. What most contracts are now, where it's like, oh, you can opt out. It's a 3-year contract, and you can opt out after every year.
That's what Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan signed 1-year deals.
You can't tell me if the Lakers did that, they get fucking 5 first-round picks. Fuck
no,
that.
they'd get a $50,000. They'd get a $2 million fine, and they'd
We'd probably give them a more salary cap to go pay for somebody.
they'd take them off the luxury tax for the next year.
Yeah. Like what? That's such horse shit.
And then you think of,
well, and then you look at you look at I mean, they were one of the better teams at the time, but still, like, you could get some good pieces in those later rounds that, you know, could have filled some voids and maybe got them over the hump. And then after that 04-05 year where they didn't make the playoffs for another 18 years, you're telling me that, you know, having those draft picks couldn't have helped to build for the future and kind of sustain that level of success?
Absolutely, because then if some guy is gruntled like Sprewell or Cassell, you know what? You have 5 first-round picks. You have some players you can build off of, and they could have made the playoffs consistently, and who knows? Maybe Kevin Garnett never leaves Minnesota.
But also, though, to play a little bit of devil's advocate here is the Wolves do not have a great history of drafting, too. So they all, you know, it also could have not mattered in the long run. Anyways.
I mean, would we be surprised if they would have went 0-5 on those 5 first-rounders? No. But I mean, Jesus Christ, to play glass half full approach, maybe they get 1 right. I mean, that's at least 20% there. But yeah, and then what did Kevin McHale said? Yeah, other teams just do it. They're just better at hiding it than us. Like what? The one I can't understand is this: is how come I've never heard of this until I just read this in this chapter? Like, this seems like a big deal. Why does nobody say anything about this?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and it also, because they've also been so bad in drafts, it doesn't matter. Like where they in the 2009 draft where they take 3 point guards and not one of them is named Steph Curry.
And then Kevin Love tweets, "What are we doing that night?"
that was Grant before Grant.
Yeah, with 3 question marks. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, you can't make this up. And then for the Wolves to trade Kevin Garnett to Boston and get 5 players and only 2, Big Al lasted more than 3 years. Like, really?
Yeah, just an awful trade.
Well, McHale also did his buddy Danny Ainge a favor.
Oh, hell yeah, he did.
Because I heard some people say the Lakers' offer for KG was better than what Boston gave, but Kevin didn't want to give the Lakers a favor. And he gave his buddy Danny Ainge a hand job underneath the dinner table, and life was good.
Well, I wonder what the Lakers offered him.
I bet you think Lamar Odom was part of that deal?
He could have. Yeah, he could have been.
They wouldn't have gotten. They would have gotten Gasol had they gotten KG.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, so according to Basketball Forever, it was Andrew Bynum and Lamar Odom for Kevin Garnett.
And he didn't.
Much better than what they got.
And he didn't take that. Oh, that's frustrating.
Which people forget that Andrew Bynum at that time, behind Dwight Howard, was the second best center in the league.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, his knees.
And Lamar Odom was a solid player.
His knees just said, "Yeah, hey, not today." You know, it's like one of those. Hey, I'm gonna wake up and have a good day today. Your knees. The fuck you are.
And the Jimmy Butler. We all remember this one. We were all excited when he came. It was finally similar to what happened with the Sixers. Is the ownership took the guys with the less headaches, the Wiggins and the Cats, because Jimmy Butler saw it. He was right. neither of those guys have any dog in them. And, they should have traded one of those two, but they
Well,
didn't.
you know what's sad is
And
in that Jimmy Butler season, guys, had he not gotten hurt with that sprained knee, they would have been the 4 or the 3 seed.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been the 8. Because
yeah, that's right. I forgot about
remember
that.
that year they had to play Denver the last game of the regular season. Winner got in. Fun fact for you: that was the last time Denver missed the playoffs.
How about that?
So how about that? But yeah, had Jimmy not sprained his knee, and they would have listened to the guy they traded everything for, and when he came to Minnesota, he had a football in his hand. It was at U.S. Bank Stadium. Had they would have listened to that guy, who knows where they'd be? Probably still a semifinal loss team, but not a total embarrassment.
Yep. And then and this one probably is not really important, but it was noted, was the Kevin Love's relationship with David Kahn, who wouldn't give him the contract that he wanted. Also a recurring theme in this book is owners not giving players the contracts they wanted and paying dearly for it. But I think in the long run, and it was noted that Kevin Love was going to leave. So probably not a big thing, but, he was at that time, though, he was a fun player to watch. He was he was kind of the centerpiece for the Wolves and just didn't work out. But you guys got anything for the rest of chapter 3?
That's pretty much it.
Not too much, yeah.
No? So, all right, well, let's go on to chapter 4, Diamond in the Rough. And, this is fitting because the Twins did have gotten a few diamonds here in what the rest of time can seem a very frustrating for the Twins. And, it starts off, we weren't alive for this, but Twins lose the World Series in '65. And similarly, in Minnesota sports fashion, the winner go home game, the offense forgets to show up and get shut out.
Well, yeah, and what the 3 games in Los Angeles, they scored 2 runs in 27 innings.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Kind of fitting we're going back to LA tonight.
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah, it is. Yeah, and then 69, where they could have matched up against the Miracle Mets, but they were swept by the Orioles, who were on a mission. They were probably the best team in baseball that year. 109-53. Oh, unbelievable. And then
Wow, they won.
that was in Rod Carews, which well, Bert Blyleven. There was just a lot of full circle moments in this one where they where the White Sox in '86, the Twins were playing the White Sox, and Greg Gagne hit 2 inside the park home runs in one game. And he did it against White Sox pitcher Floyd Bannister, and Minnesota won 7-3, and the winning pitcher was Bert Blyleven.
Nothing in this chapter is really that surprising.
No, and also, guys, too. So I was chatting with Dan on Friday. We were just messaging back and forth, and a couple of notes here is, so the Dirty Dozen was actually this was determined by a Twitter poll, which explains why the rankings are what they are. So, and then we also, when he comes on, so have this ready when he comes on, which will be a couple of weeks still after we finish. It's going to be, we did a Mount Rushmore of Minnesota sports with Ross Brendel. And since this book is History of Heartbreak, I think it's fitting that we do a Mount Flushmore of Minnesota sports faces. So the worst of the worst in Minnesota sports. And I don't know how we're going to get it down to 4, but we're going to do it.
I'm exhausted thinking about that.
Yeah. Well, this chapter 4 gives us a few.
I just want a blanket statement right here. Carl Pohlad, I'm glad he died and didn't get to see Target Field open up. That sick son of a bitch didn't deserve any nice thing in his life.
Well, neither did the owner before him.
No.
Just too crusty old.
And I think this guy is worse. Where he got Rod Carew, probably one of the nicest guys in the MLB ever, to say he will never play for the Twins again because the best offer he would give a guy was $240,000, one of the best hitters in baseball history, and that's all you're going to offer him, compared to Mike Schmidt, who was making $560,000.
You know, the one that really killed me, guys, was in the next chapter when the Twins had the first pick after the 82 season. They finished with 102 losses. The first overall pick was looking for a minimum of $125,000 signing bonus. The second pick was signed $140,000 deal. Oh, sweet. That should be an issue. He's asking for less than the guy before. What does that owner do? He offers him $60,000.
We're so lucky that guy. Like, obviously, he didn't mount anything.
Yeah.
Like, he was just a bust.
Yeah, exactly.
But how did he not end up like David Ortiz? Like, just completely fuck us.
Yeah, you know, it's just, oh, well, we didn't like his style, and his swing was too violent, so we had to let him go. What the fuck?
Well, later on, where they talk about the how they could have had Steve Garvey, but the owner didn't want to pay him much. It's like, well, Steve Garvey was a Hall of Famer. The guy they took was to quote The Rock, the biggest load of dog shit.
You know, I'm just gonna say now, Carl Pohlad is gonna be on my Mount Flushmore of Minnesota sports. The dude's a total asshat.
Oh my God.
Tries to sell the team, doesn't want to pay anyone, lets Santana walk and Torrey Hunter walk the same fucking offseason, right after they win the division, have a great
And
year.
after they get a new bill for the new stadium.
Yeah. And then, like, oh please, could not the Metrodome could not generate the revenue needed for the Twins to remain competitive. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
No, that's not true. That's you trying to be a cheap fuck and want a new stadium but not have to pay for it.
I mean, the dude at the end of his run as the owner, what did he buy the team for? Was it like 30 million or 86, and it turned into 300 million plus? And you can't pay these players. His net worth was over $3 billion when he died.
And yet, on December 8th, after they weren't allowed to sell the fucking team, you cut the payroll from $27 million, a whopping $27 million. Carlos Correa makes more than that now.
It's just insane.
He cuts it to $10 to $15 million. Like, are you? Who the fuck are you paying?
Oh, guys.
Well, and he also let the two faces of the franchise that were going to help them bring in the new stadium walk. It's because they didn't want to give Torrey Hunter 5 years. They only offered him 3. And then Johan Santana, who at the time was the best pitcher in baseball.
and then their stupid excuse. We wanted to build a team for the new stadium. You're going to what?
You let them walk.
And the year before, they won the AL Central, and if Francisco Liriano doesn't get hurt in the series of what ifs that I thought could have been on this in this book is if he doesn't get hurt, I like their chances to at least make the ALCS and play Detroit, a team that they had success with, and beat in the division. And who knows? We get a rematch of the '87 World Series.
Fuck Carl.
You can't make this up. And then also another one which is just ridiculous: the pitcher being caught cheating on the mound because his ball was moving too much.
Joe Niekro.
For the love of God, could you make it more obvious that you had something going on with the sandpaper in the back of your glove there, dude?
Well, and I wanted I don't know if it was Joe Niekro or not, but if you've ever seen the documentary about the '86 Mets. There was a knuckleballer for the Astros where, like, after an inning, one of the Mets pitchers tossed one of the balls that the pitcher was using into the Mets dugout, and then in the post-game press conference showed the ball where you could clearly tell he was rubbing sandpaper on the ball. And then, well, another one too is that the Twins let David Ortiz walk.
Can't
And
forget,
then
like,
Terry
hurt.
Ryan quotes it as, "It wasn't a financial decision. It was a very bad baseball decision." You
Oh,
think?
you think, buddy? First ballot Hall of
Then
Famer.
Killebrew gets hurt in a fucking All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yep. I mean, this is probably the best section of the podcast here, where we're just ranting about the Twins. And the 2016 season, we do not want to
have a
discuss
whole
that
bunch
season.
of confidence.
We were living together when that season started, and they were so bad. By the end of our time living together, we were just laughing at how bad they were. Like, we could just pick when the blow up was going to happen, and it on cue happened.
We were cheering. Like, I remember once, this season was so bad. Like, my junior year in high school, our high school basketball coaches were such assholes. We had one senior on the team. We had no players in our junior class. The first game we went to, we were down like 48-92. The student section started chanting something along the lines, "Oh, we hope the other team gets to 100," because they were so bad. We were just hoping the implosion was happening. And the scoreboard didn't have 100. It would have gone to 0-0. And we would have been starting over again.
And I the one I remember from that season is when the Twins were playing the Nationals, and they were winning. It was like 4-3 or something. It was a 1-run game, and Bryce Harper wasn't in the lineup that day.
Oh my!
They bring him in to pitch hit, and we all go, "Oh, this is bad. He's gonna tie this game up." First pitch, moonshot, like out of Nationals Park, and we're like, "Yep."
Oh boy.
Yep, and all of us just kind of slouched down in our chair like, ugh.
I remember that day to this day. Yeah, we were like, it's happening. It's happening.
Dylan, you're gonna have to ask Grant about the Cubs fan that was sat across the aisle from us.
Oh, that's right. Speaking of baseball, you guys were at the Twins Cubs game on Friday. Dana was at the game on Saturday. I messaged him. He had that on his Snapchat story. I messaged him like, "Looks like you and Grant and Ethan should have just swapped days." And Dana goes, "Yeah, it was not a good day for a Cubs day."
The same thing right after you, because he goes, "Dylan said the same thing." Oh,
5, Ethan.
Yes, we did it.
No,
but
so yeah, we had douchebag wannabe Fran McCaffrey next to us.
Oh, dude, he looked
just like him. He was tall, mid-50s, slender built, bit of a belly because you could tell he's had 3 kids and he's in a miserable marriage and doesn't have sex anymore. His hair was combed back. It was gray, and some fans were trying to get the wave started because, hey, you're at a baseball game, Twins fans, we get the wave going. And like me and Ethan said, the wave at Target Field does not compare to the wave at the Metrodome. The wave at the Metrodome just slapped. It fucked hard, in the words of Ethan Price.
Which, you know what? I as much as people dogged on that place, that place holds a special place in my heart as the Metrodome.
Absolutely.
God bless that stadium.
Absolutely.
So then,
I wish there would have been a way to find a way to keep that up, which obviously they got great stadium now, but you know what? We grew up with the Metrodome. That place just doesn't leave you.
But
nope.
Like, I would have loved to been in the Metrodome, the 91 Game 7 World Series, just to hear the place erupt when they scored the go-ahead run in the 10th.
Even just for our sake, that Detroit 163.
Yep.
Yes.
That place was nuts.
But guys, so back to douchebag Fran McCaffrey here. Wannabe Fran McCaffrey, small dick douche sitting to our right. Sorry, I'm just destroying this guy I've never met before, but he's a Cubs fan, and I don't like him. He lays up on par fours. He uses iron covers. God, that guy was just an asshole. Sorry. Okay, so we're trying to get the wave started, and that son of a bitch looks over and goes, "Hey, everyone sit down and respect the baseball game. You got to respect the game that's going on right now." And Ethan and I are just like,
"Boo.
Dude, shut the fuck up. We're trying to sit here and enjoy the game and get the wave started. Don't tell me I need to respect the game." I mean, it was just the most ridiculous thing. And the whole rest of the night, I had to look at this bastard when I was watching the whole game, and it kind of upset me because I just kept hearing him say, "Sit down and respect the game. Respect the baseball game." He's also kind of the guy who believes in unwritten rules and doesn't want you to celebrate after home runs. So he's just a real asshole.
Well, like, it was right after the
Well,
Twins.
and you know what? We had a better experience with Yankee fans sitting next to us at the game last year we went to when the Twins would hit home runs. That guy was giving us fives.
Oh yeah.
This guy sounds terrible. They might
I know
have
who's an
the
asshole.
Cubs fans replaced Yankee fans as the worst insufferable fans.
They're just vile.
I mean, that might be in this discussion
They're
now.
vile.
There was one cool Cubs fan in front of us. He was chill. He thought we were fun.
Yeah, him, wife, and 4-year-old daughter, 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah, probably better.
Yeah, just a family of 3 out for a night of the game. Either
yeah, like after the Twins got their double and they scored or whatever, he's just bad Cubs fans just sitting there, and I literally yelled across out, "Eat shit, you stupid motherfucker!" And I'm pretty sure.
At douchebag Fran McCaffrey.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, he was a real dick.
Fran coaches in Iowa, so he probably is a Cubs fan.
I thought about Dylan standing up and just staring at him, but I don't think the guy would have understood my reference.
I guarantee you, Fran is probably a Phillies fan.
Is he from? Well, where was he from before?
I think he's from there. He's from there.
Well,
I'm pretty sure he's from Philadelphia.
Well, that's not good.
Well, then he's an Eagles fan. That might be worse.
Boy.
Let's see here. Yeah, he is from Philly. He played at Wake Forest and Penn. So, yeah. I mean,
well, he still gave us the college basketball meme of the year. It's okay.
Yeah, and his NCAA tournament record is 6-9. Nice.
Giggity.
But no, it was a shitty game. Let's just end it with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, hopefully the next one you guys go to is better. And next week we've got. Do we want to just finish her out and go the 5 chapters 5, 6, and 7, or do we want to just stick with the 2, or just knock all 3 out and call her? Well, what do you?
Because that's the Vikings. We can go more in depth on the Vikings.
Oh yeah. I feel like we'll have the most fun with the Vikings.
Just do 5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go purple. We're gonna go the Prince song, Purple Haze.
Yeah, we could just absolutely unload on these. This is gonna be fun.
This will be fun.
And there's gonna be a bunch on here that he didn't mention that we'll be able to bring up.
Yeah. Yep. We might have to go dig into the archives and see if we could get an old Vikings fans who actually remembers these games to come on and chat with us about it and see get his perspective.
We might kill him.
Yeah.
We might kill him.
And so yeah, we'll go Purple Haze next week and chat it up. Which actually isn't a bad thing too, because I'll be in Scottsdale all weekend for a bachelor party, and we'll see how much brain activity I come back with.
Let's get fucked up.
And we'll kick it over to you, Ethan, because you can finish the episode up with Curveball of the Week.
This one is pretty simple. It's not hard to think about, but is a thumb a finger or not?
I'm going to say it right away for everyone in the room. No, it's not. Just like how a hot dog is not
it's a thumb.
Just like how a hot dog is not a sandwich, it's a hot dog.
Yeah, that's exactly my logic too. Is it? I don't know if I can consider it a finger or a hot dog a sandwich. A hot dog is a hot dog. A thumb is a thumb. A pinky toe is a pinky toe.
You know, if it was a finger, they'd call it a fucking finger. That's how I look
exactly.
at it.
You have your pointer finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, your pinky finger, and a thumb.
Yes, it's separate for a reason. Like, I saw a bunch of people talking about this on Twitter this week, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with all you people?
You know, the better question is how much more difficult your life would be without a thumb.
Yeah, can you imagine?
We'd be a dog.
We would be a dog.
We would be a boon.
And Grant would be going through a lot more peanut butter jars.
Jesus, it would be a disaster. But I'm not flexible enough to do it myself, so I'd have to.
Can you imagine trying to watch it eat?
Oh, jeez.
Your hands together.
Bite your forearm and just chowing on it.
One of these days, we're gonna tape our thumbs and see who can last all day without moving your thumb.
I have a question. Can we go?
And you'd
Can
have
we
to,
go to the?
like, you'd
Can
have
we
to
go to the
touch with
bathroom?
two
Can we
hands.
go to the bathroom before this?
No, you got to do it with it. So just wear shorts.
Well, I mean, granted, it's not going to change you a whole lot, anyways, because you already pee sitting down. So
I'm not worried about
I
that.
don't
I'm
see how
talking
much
the, I'm
that
talking
affects
the
you.
other thing. I'm talking sitting on the toilet bowl trying to clean my ass.
No, you don't need a thumb for that. Oh well, I mean, maybe for you. I don't want to know what you do.
We should end
Dylan's
it.
over here shoving fingers
Yeah,
up his
we-
ass.
No, I'm not. You are. You're the one that thought of it. You're like, I'm doing other stuff on the toilet while I'm sitting on the
Be
toilet
like
seat
Boone,
with my
just
ass.
go- you could be like Boone and go find a friend outside, and they'll just lick it for you.
Yeah, there you go.
That might be kind of fun.
All right, we're gonna end this. So thank you guys for listening. That
Come
wraps up
on.
episode 78 of the three guys talking ball podcast. We'll have the segments of the show out on Friday. Grant is, I don't know, Ethan is doing that as well. And
Dylan,
you know what?
Dylan's
We're just
excited.
gonna. You guys
Hey,
know
what's
where
the
to
else that
where to
what you got
find
to
us.
the ball?
You guys can check us out there. That wraps it up. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you next week.